ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So we shall read from the book A Second Chance. I request all of you to please hear attentively as I read, and after the reading is done, we will have a short interactive quiz based on this chapter. So I will share my screen so that you can also see the text as I'm reading. Reading from A Second Chance, the story of a near-death experience by His Divine Grace Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada. Chapter 8, entitled Religion. The Yamadutas replied, that which is prescribed in the Vedas constitutes dharma, and the opposite of that is irreligion. The Vedas are directly the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, and are self born. This we have heard from Yamaraja. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 1, verse 40. Hearing from authority. Vedic principles are accepted as authoritative because they originate with Krishna. Thus, the Vedas carry the authority of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the same way that law books carry the authority of the government. When it comes to determining what is religion and what is irreligion, there is no such thing as this is my opinion or I think it means this. Opinion is nonsense. We have to understand God by the process of Shushruma, hearing from the authorized representative of God. In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, verse 1, Krishna says, Imam vivasvate yogam proktavanaham avyayam vivasvan manave praha manurikshvakave bravit. I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god Vivasvan, and Vivasvan instructed it to Manu, the father of mankind, and Manu in turn instructed it to Ikshvaku. This is the way to understand the Vedas, by hearing from the proper authority, the spiritual master. So the Yamadutas were claiming that the Vishnudutas should not hinder them in the performance of their duty, since they were acting under the order of a bona fide authority, Yamaraja. Yamaraja is one of the 12 Mahajanas, great personalities, who are, who are authorities in both spiritual and material affairs. He is a Vaishnava, but his thankless task is to punish all the souls who perform sinful activities. Just as the superintendent of police is a responsible, faithful servant of the government, so Yamaraj is a faithful servant of Lord Narayana or Krishna. His task is to chastise sinful persons. If a High Court judge is required in ordinary government, why not in God's government? There are 12 Mahajanas mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam: Lord Brahma, Narad Muni, Lord Shiva, the four Kumaras, the Kapila, Lord Kapila, the son of Devahuti, Swayambhuva Manu, Prahlad Maharaj, Bhishma Deva, Janaka Maharaj, Shukadev Goswami, Bali Maharaj, and Yamaraj. These authorities have exactly these authorities know exactly who God is, and they can direct us to Him. Therefore, the Shastras advise us to follow them. Without following the Mahajanas, it is impossible to know God because we cannot understand the path of religion by our mental speculation. Religious principles are enunciated by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 3, verse 19. Therefore, real religion means to abide by the words of the Supreme Lord and his representatives. In the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, verse 66, Krishna says, Mam ekam sharanam vraja. Simply surrender unto me. That is true religion. Anything else is irreligion. Man made religion is not religion, it is cheating. Nowadays, it has become fashionable for everyone to manufacture his own religion without reference to the authorities. One should know that dharma or religion means the laws given to man by God. The path of dharma is strictly followed by the Mahajanas, and so we have to follow them. Otherwise, there is no possibility of understanding what religion is or who God is. Everyone in the material world is puzzled about what religion is. Therefore, the Mundaka Upanishad 1.2.12 says, one should approach a guru. Tadvijnanartham sa gurum eva vigachet. If someone wants to learn the transcendental science, he has to approach a guru. There are no exceptions. One cannot say, I shall learn the transcendental science without going to a spiritual master. No, that is not possible. The Vaishnava principles enjoin Adau Guruashrayam. The first step in understanding spiritual knowledge is to take shelter of a bona fide guru. And there are three principles to observe in taking shelter of a guru. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, verse 34. We must surrender to the spiritual master, we must inquire from him, and we must render service to him. Then we will be able to understand real spiritual knowledge. When Sanatana Goswami approached Lord Chaitanya to become his disciple, Sanatana surrendered himself and said, my dear Lord, when I was a minister, people used to address me as a learned man, and so I accepted that I was learned and intelligent. But actually, I am neither learned nor intelligent because I do not know what I am. This is the result of my learning. I know everything except what I am and how to get out of this miserable material condition of life. We see that modern education fails here also. The professor talks about so many things, but if we ask him what he is, he has no answer. Universities award degrees to the graduates who think, I am a PhD, a very learned man. But if we ask that PhD to explain what he is and what the purpose of life is, he will refer only to his bodily designations. I am American, I am male, etc. He can only state his identification with the body, which he is not, and therefore he is fool number one. At first, Arjuna was also thinking in terms of bodily connections. Krishna, how can I fight? On the other side, there are my cousins, my brothers, my uncles, my nephews, and my brothers in law. If I kill them, their wives will become widows and be polluted, and there will be unwanted children. Arjuna was a very learned man, but he was perplexed. He said, my dear Krishna, now I am puzzled. I am a Kshatriya and it is my duty to fight. But I am deviating from this duty because I am bewildered and cannot reason clearly. I know you can explain to me what I should do. Therefore, I surrender unto you as your disciple. Please instruct me. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 7. The Vedic literature advises us first of all that the Guru is not a plaything. One should not think, I must have a Guru because it is fashionable, but there is no need to obey his order. That kind of Guru is useless, and that kind of disciple is useless also. Accepting a Guru is very serious. You must seriously find out who is a bona fide spiritual master who can who can solve the problems of your life. One who can solve the problems of your life. Only when one is serious about getting out of the blazing fire of material existence should one approach a spiritual master. The Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 3, verse 21 says, Tasma Gurum Prapadyeta Jignya Shreya Uttamam Shabde Pare Cha Nishnatam Brahman Upasamashrayam. One who wants the ultimate benefit in his life must surrender to a guru. The guru must be well versed in the Vedic literature and know its conclusions. And not only must he be well versed in the scripture, but in his life he must have adopted the path of Vedic principles without deviating in any way. He must be finished with all hankerings for wealth, women, and prestige, and he must be fully situated in spiritual life, completely surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. One should try to find such a personality and accept him as one's spiritual master. So the servants of Yamaraj replied quite properly. They did not manufacture principles of religion or irreligion. Instead, they explained that they had heard from their spiritual master, Yamaraj. Mahajano yena gatasta panthaha. One should follow the Mahajana, the authorized person. Yamaraja is one of the 12 authorities. Therefore, the servants of Yamaraj, the Yamadutas, replied with perfect justification when they said, Shushruma, we have heard from our master Yamaraj. Thus ends chapter 8 of the book A Second Chance, entitled Religion. So now we shall have a quiz. I hope you're all ready for the quiz. I'm going to read out multiple choice questions with four options. You just have to type A, B, C, or D. So today we saw in this chapter Srila Prabhupada explaining the reply given by Yamadutas to the question asked by Vishnudutas. So Vishnudutas asked, what is religion? And is everyone who is performing fruitive activities subject to punishment? What is your understanding? Because you are representing Yamaraj, the superintendent of death and justice. So you must be knowing all these things. So what is your understanding? So Vishnudutas asked. And in reply, the Yamadutas answered that Vedas are the supreme authority. Vedo Narayana Sakshat. And the Vedas are directly the same supreme personality of Godhead. And all this we have heard from our authority, from our spiritual master, that is Yamaraj. That means the Yamadutas were were quite aware of what their duty was. They were aware of religious principles. They did not manufacture anything. They replied quite aptly when they said that we have heard all this from our spiritual master, from our authority, Yamaraja. So that's a very interesting point, and Srila Prabhupada elaborates on why it's important to approach a bona fide spiritual master and how to approach all that we have just now read. So let's now start the quiz. Here's your first question. According to the Yamadutas, what constitutes dharma? Your options are A. Social customs, B. Moral philosophy, C. That which is prescribed in the Vedas, or D. Personal belief. Please type your answer in the chat window. Yes, Abhishek, Chetana Mataji, Thomas, Sakshi Mataji. All of you have given the right answer. C is the right answer. Real dharma means that which is prescribed in the Vedas. Dharma is not about social customs and traditions, it's not about some moral philosophy, it's neither a matter of personal belief or faith. Following the prescriptions of the Vedas, which are directly the words of the Supreme Lord, that constitutes dharma. Okay, let's go to the next question. Vedic principles are authoritative because they originate from, your options are A. Ancient sages, B. Krishna, C. Tradition, or D. Society. What is the right answer? Yes, yes, all of you have given the right answer. B. Krishna. Krishna or Narayana is the supreme authority, and Vedas are directly emanating from him. Therefore, the Vedas are authentic, they are authoritative. Okay, the next question. The proper way to understand dharma is through, your options are A. Hearing from authorized representatives, B. Mental speculation, C. Popular opinion, or D. Academic research. What's the proper way to understand dharma? Yes. Yes, all of you have given the right answer. A is the right answer. Hearing from authorized representatives. So we have to hear from bona fide spiritual master who is a pure devotee of the Lord, who is a representative of Krishna. And by hearing from such a bona fide spiritual master who is a authorized representative, we can understand dharma. Okay, the next question. In Bhagavad Gita 4.1, Krishna explains that knowledge is received through, your options are A. Personal realization alone, B. Disciplic succession, C. Scientific experimentation, or D. Democratic process. How is knowledge received? Yes. Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo viduhu. Parampara system, or the process, the system of disciplic succession is the way Krishna recommends in the Bhagavad Gita, through which we have to receive spiritual knowledge. We cannot receive spiritual knowledge by our own concoction, nor by popular opinion or a democratic process, nor we can say that I have realized it myself, therefore it is true. No, it has to come from the bona fide spiritual master who is coming in a bona fide parampara system starting from Krishna himself. So that is the understanding. The next question. Which of the following is not one of the 12 Mahajanas mentioned? Who among the following is not one of the 12 Mahajanas as mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam? Your options are A. Prahlad Maharaj, B. Bali Maharaj, C. King Indra, or D. Shukadev Goswami. Yes. Yes. See, Indra is not a Mahajana. Indra is not a Mahajana. All of you have given the right answer. All these 12 personalities about whom we read, they're all great personalities because they're all pure devotees of the Lord. They have demonstrated through their personal actions what it means to serve the Lord. And therefore, they are authorized representatives of the Lord. They are the 12 Mahajanas. The next question. The Bhagavatam states that religion is A. Created by great sages, B. Enunciated directly by the Supreme Lord, C. Formed by tradition, or D. Based on moral principles. Yes, again, you're all right. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. Dharma is that which is directly pranitam, spoken or ordered by the Supreme Lord Himself. So, dharma means that which is enunciated directly by the Supreme Lord. So, human beings cannot manufacture dharma. Even if we manufacture, it is going to be full of faults. It is not perfect. So, man made religion is of no use. We have to follow the orders of the Lord. Next question. Man made religion is described as A. Progressive, B. Cheating, C. Unacceptable, or D. Necessary. What is the right answer? Man made religion is described here as yes, right? All of you have given the right answer. B. Cheating. In fact, in the very beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said, Dharma projita kaitavotra paramo nirmatsaranam satam vedyam vastavamatra vastu shivadam tapatrayon moolanam. Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krute Kimva Parairishvaraha. So in the very beginning, Vyasadeva begins Bhagavatam by saying that all kinds of cheating religions are thrown out of this Bhagavatam. Kaitava means cheating. Kaitava dharma, cheating religions. So that religion which promises some kind of material comforts after death is a cheating religion. That religion which simply says you are God or you can become God, that is cheating religion. So all these kinds of cheating, bogus religious propagandas are going on in Kali Yuga. But if one adheres to Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam and understands these scriptures from Srila Prabhupada, who is a bona fide spiritual master, he or she can be saved from all such bogus, cheating propaganda. And not only we should become aware, it is also our duty to create awareness among the people because innocent people can fall trap to such bogus, cheating propaganda religions. So therefore, we must practice and then we must preach. Achar and then prachar. Very, very important for a devotee of Lord Chaitanya. Okay, the next question. Which Upanishad instructs that one must approach a bona fide spiritual master? Your options are A. Katha Upanishad, B. Kena Upanishad, C. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, or D. Mundaka Upanishad. Which Upanishad did Srila Prabhupada quote in this chapter that we just now read? Okay, I've got only one answer. Chetna Mataji has given the right answer. It is D. Mundaka Upanishad. Tad, so the verse that we read that uh, Tasmad Gurum Prapadyeta, that was from Bhagavatam. And here in the Mundaka Upanishad, it is said, Samit Pani Shrotriyam Brahmanishtham Tasmad So we must approach a bona fide spiritual master, and such a bona fide spiritual master must be self realized. He is Brahmanishtham, firmly fixed in spiritual practice himself. And Shrotriyam means he must have heard the conclusions of all the Vedic scriptures from his spiritual master. And he is called a bona fide spiritual master. Shrotriyam Brahmanishtham. Hmm? And uh, this is what the injunction of Mundaka Upanishad is. It is not optional, it is mandatory for everyone, the Mundaka Upanishad says, to approach a bona fide spiritual master. Okay, the next question, the last question for today. Okay, two more questions. Sanatana Goswami admitted that despite being educated, he did not know what. Your options are A. Vedic scriptures, B. Economics, C. What he actually was, or D. Sanskrit language. What's the right answer? What did Sanatana Goswami admit when he approached Lord Chaitanya? Yes, Sanatana Goswami said, people say that I am a great learned scholar, but I don't know who am I. K Ami. Who am I? I don't know. And why am I going through these tapatraya, these miseries? I don't know. I don't know who I am. So this is the way Sanatana Goswami approached Lord Chaitanya. Now the last question. Modern education fails because it does not teach what? Your options are A. Science, B. Self-realization, C. National identity, or D. Humanity. What's the answer? Yes, yes, all of you have given the right answer. The answer is B. Modern education fails because we are not taught self-realization, which is actually the goal of human life. And in fact, Srila Prabhupada compared the modern schools and universities to slaughterhouses, where the real purpose or the real spirit of inquiry is not kindled, but it is slaughtered. The very purpose of human life is defeated. As Bhagavatam says, unless we inquire about Brahma Vidya, spiritual knowledge, our life is a waste. It is wasted. So the modern education system has failed miserably. We on the modern education system focuses so much about everything in this world except for the most important thing, that is the self realization. Who am I? What's the purpose of life? Who is God? What is my relationship with God? So these are not taught. And that's why Srila Prabhupada said, I traveled all over the world. I have found so many universities with so many branches of knowledge they teach. But nowhere I have found people teaching the science of the soul. And Srila Prabhupada said, his movement, the Hare Krishna movement, the ISKCON movement, is actually meant for enlightening people in this self realization and God realization. So, with that, we come to the end of today's session. Thank you all for being a part of the session. We shall meet again in the next session. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जाय, विश्व
Jai,
गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जाय.
Jai.
हरे कृष्ण.